Horus is the name of a sky god in ancient Egyptian mythology, referring primarily to two gods, Horus the Elder, or Horus the Great, the last of the 5 primordial gods to be born, and Horus the Younger, the son of Osiris and Isis. Horus is the most important bird god who took so many forms and was depicted so differently in different inscriptions that it is almost impossible to distinguish the real Horus. Horus is essentially a generic term for a large number of falcon gods. While this is certainly true, the name Horus is often used to refer to either the eldest of the 5 primordial gods or the son of Isis and Osiris, who defeated his uncle Set and restored order to the land. The name Horus is the Latin version of the Egyptian Hor, meaning the distant one, referring to his role as a sky god. Horus the Elder was the brother of Osiris, Isis, Set and Nephthys, known as Horus the Great in English or Harwer and Hariris in Egyptian. The son of Osiris and Isis was also known as Horus the Child. Horus the Elder was one of the most ancient Egyptian gods, born from the union of Geb, earth, and Nut, sky. Shortly after the creation of the world, Horus was given the task of ruling the sky and especially the sun. The sun and moon were considered the eyes of Horus as he watched over the people of the world day and night, but could also draw near to them in times of trouble or doubt. Imagined as a falcon, he could fly away from Ra and return with important information, and in the same way he could quickly bring comfort to those in need. Horus the Child was born alone in the swamps of the Delta by his mother Isis. She hid herself and her son from Set and his demons in the bushes, only coming out at night to forage for food with a guard of 7 scorpions given to her by the goddess Selket. Selket, and in some versions of the story, Neith, kept watch over Horus while Isis was out. Isis, Selket, and Neith raised and educated Horus during his exile until he was old enough to challenge his uncle for his father's kingdom. Horus the Younger was a powerful sky god associated primarily with the sun, but also with the moon. He was the protector of the Egyptian royal family, the avenger of wrongs, the guardian of order, the unifier of the 2 lands, and based on his battles with Set, a war god often invoked by Egyptian rulers before battle and praised afterward. Over time, he was combined with the sun god Ra to form a new god, Are-Harekt, the sun god who flew across the sky during the day and was depicted as a falcon-headed man wearing the double crowns of Upper and Lower Egypt with the sun disk on it. His symbols were the Eye of Horus, one of the most famous Egyptian symbols, and the falcon. The younger Horus was sometimes mentioned as being related to the older god but quickly overshadowed him and shared many of his features. By the time of the Ptolemaic dynasty, 323 to 30 BC, the last dynasty to rule Egypt, the older Horus had been completely replaced by the younger Horus. In his younger form, he represented the promise of the gods to care for suffering humanity, because he himself had suffered as a child and knew what it was like to be vulnerable and surrounded by danger. Pinch, 147. It was this form of Horus that became the Greek Harpocrates, whom Plutarch called the second son of Isis, and who later became famous in the Roman world. Horus was worshipped like any other Egyptian god. Temples were built as his home and his statue was placed inside the main temple, where only the chief priests were allowed to serve him. Egyptians would come to the courtyard to ask for help or to receive alms, donations, or to have their dreams interpreted. They would also come to the temple for advice, interpretation of omens, medical assistance, marriage advice, and protection from evil spirits or demons.